Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. We've got two pieces of news here. The first is a pretty major update and I think a mistake from the publisher of Avatar The Last Airbender Heart of a Hero. As you can see here, we have some preview pages, but we actually have a whole lot more than that, so we'll get to that. And then we also have a brand new game from Funko Games for Avatar, Crossroads of Destiny game, which we will get to. So first of all, I think it's important to note that Avatar The Last Airbender Heart of a Hero is something we found out about a bunch of weeks ago. It was quite a while ago. It just was up as like a listing. We had the cover image, of course, for quite a while. We sort of have an idea for what it was going to be. It's kind of like the I Am Aang book, but bigger, more pages and stuff like that, but the same style of book. It was then taken down. It wasn't on Edelweiss and other websites for quite a while, but it seems to have gone back up very recently. So you can see the release date here, February 2024, which I think was the initial thing that it was up with. I'm not sure if it was the 27th for sure, but I honestly forget. The plan is for this book to be 40 pages, of course. It is obviously one of these kind of big square books, and it's actually quite large. You can see it's like 20 plus centimeters by 27 centimeters, so it's quite large. And of course, $18, which, you know, again, it's for a book that doesn't have a lot of pages, but is actually like relatively big. And of course, the description is as you'd expect for the most part. They mention like lyrical text here, which we'll get to in a second, but you know, there is that. And then yeah, I was just looking through and it's like, okay, cool, preview pages. That's pretty cool. Like this looks pretty nice. Katara telling the story, the Team Avatar story to the kids in the Southern Water Tribe. Seems pretty nice. The art is certainly quite nice. Like, look at this, some kind of bending animals here as we go through. Sky Bison, Badger Mole. Interesting they stay away from the dragon being here for fire, but, you know, interesting. Boy and the Iceberg style stuff, you know, the storm, 118 waterbending masters, quite nice. But I'm kind of like, this is kind of weird. Like the images, as you can see here, are quite small, even like full size. Like what's going on here? And then I was just looking down, like, oh, is there anything else in the description? And they just put this thing here, link. It's called Digital F and G. And then I clicked into it, and it appears to just be the whole book. Now, you'll note, it says here, Little Brown Young Reader's Uncorrected Proof. So someone has made an error somewhere in this where instead of some sort of a preview pack style thing, or maybe just a document that has the preview pages in nice like sizes and stuff like that, has, I think, mistakenly put up an initial proof of like the whole book. Because you can see here, it's 1 out of 20. Each one of these images is of course meant to be like half of the book, you know, in a way. Like, here's the inside cover, here's the other side of the inside cover, and of course we know the size of the book, so this is like one page, this is another page here. I'm not going to show off the whole thing just because I don't think it's meant to be here, but I do want to show off one particular image, and it's the one right after the bending animal one, because you'll note it is past avatars. And it is the focus given to some avatars that we never get focus on. So, obviously, Roku, Avatar Karuk, Avatar Yang Chen, fantastic. Kyoshi, Avatar Zito, who we now know a little bit more about. But who's this guy? Why is he right here next to Kyoshi and stuff like that? Because obviously the sequence is a little bit like not quite correct here. Because, like, you know, and it's like Aang, then Roku, then Kyoshi, and then Karuk, then Yang Chen. But who's this? Is this Avatar Salai? Because I think most people have speculated that Salai is this great previous Earth Avatar, hence the reference kind of first coming up in a Kyoshi book. But then who's this? Who's this character over here as the previous Water Avatar? This is hugely interesting for sure in terms of like what's going on here. And you'll note obviously it's kind of the characters at kind of different ages. Like this seems to be a slightly younger looking Karuk than the right before death he's kind of almost typically depicted in. Similarly, this looks like a relatively young Yang Chen, probably Dawn, Legacy of Yang Chen era Yang Chen. So that's quite interesting. With Roku, of course, it's him basically at death, as they always do it. But still, like, super interesting, and in a kid's book that I think so many fans are just going to completely ignore that this book exists. But it's probably like the cleanest and clearest some of these other two avatars have ever been like depicted. So who this guy is kind of interesting. That, you know, of all the people like they could have focused on here, again, it's an Aang era book, so like Korra is not going to be here. They're doing a shot of previous avatars. So yeah, the expectation here would be that, like, I guess this is like the previous ones. Because like I guess the order is like, you know, we go back and forth. So it's like what, right, left, right. No, it's not even in order necessarily here, is it? Because it's this, then Yang Chen. And then before Yang Chen was Zito. And then before Zito would have been this character here. Then this character. So again, the sequence is not really there as such, but still very, very interesting. So let's do a little comparison here. Let's bring in this image here, which is one of the clearest ones we have of sort of like previous avatars once again. So again, this is going back in time. So like we have Aang, Kyoshi, you know, Roku, of course. We have Karuk here. We have Yang Chen here. Zito here. This, I'm guessing, has to probably be the older version of our character here, because he has the mustache, he has the beard, but it's him, I guess, before he is really, really old and looks like this here. Then we're talking about a water avatar. So is it this guy here? Is this guy here the older version of what seems to be a relatively young-looking previous water avatar that we have over here? Because, of course, this looks like a Zito from a kind of era that we maybe haven't even seen before. It might just be the art style kind of giving that effect across, but still super, super interesting that like this might be like our first look at like one of these characters. And it's unfortunate that like we don't know for sure who the names of these two previous avatars, but it's so interesting that like they just get like a kind of hero shot image like this when we have been so, in a way, almost careful to like slowly roll out the reveal of who these characters are, in terms of like Avatar Jafar now being Avatar Zito, and us not really knowing much about the others. So very interesting stuff. So yeah, go to Edelweiss, look at this if you so wish. There's Sozin, of course. Interesting look for the Sozin era firebenders potentially here is kind of interesting. And you know, the mention even here on this page of like referencing stuff like all of the nations sort of being attacked at once, that's something that we didn't even quite know from before either. But for sure from this, the most interesting stuff I think has to be this image, and probably this one here as well. But I'm going to move away from this now just because I don't want to potentially get kind of in trouble, get copyright struck for this, even though, like I said, it is literally just a listing on Edelweiss. I've done nothing to kind of somehow steal the book. It's just there. I assume this will get changed. I assume when they find out about this, this will get changed here. But obviously, like, you know, support the book. I would definitely recommend it. And honestly, just it having that image there makes me kind of be like, do you know what? I'm going to get this book just to kind of like support the artist here on this at the very least, even if like the text is maybe not like anything crazy. These are the sort of books that I think are just kind of fun to get. Like look at the preview page with the Dancing Dragon stuff. That's fantastic. But yeah, next piece of news, last piece of news is this Avatar Crossroads of Destiny, the game, by Funko Games. So very interesting stuff. It does say like it's, I suppose, licensed by Funko Games. It actually is a cooperative adventure game by Prospero Hall. Now, as has been pointed out, the core image here on the box is obviously a little bit weird because it's Book 3 Aang, Toph, in her standard outfit, of course. And then we're back to book 1. Katara and Sokka here is a little bit like, come on, like, why do we do this with these type of things? Like, these companies, when they get the Avatar license, you know, as far as we're aware, they must get access to a massive image library for Avatar. And they always seem to assemble it in kind of slightly odd ways like this, where there's always weird things where they're never quite consistent about, like, if you're going to do book 3 era stuff, include everyone in their book 3 outfits. Have it be book 3 Katara with the long hair. Have it be Sokka in his kind of invasion outfit, or just his outfit that he wears like just prior to the invasion. That kind of Wolf Cove Sokka from like the Generations game and stuff like that. Again, nothing too critical. It's just, you know, when you see a big kind of new image kind of compilation like this, you kind of wonder like how it exactly came together. But otherwise, you do get a sense for like some of how it's going to work here. It does seem like it's going to be one of those games where like there's a lot of game pieces, a lot of different groupings of cards here, a lot of tokens, pieces and stuff like that. There's some sort of a kind of a grid-based board here that seems to have Fire Nation soldiers. You have your own characters here. You can sort of get a better sense of it here. The characters kind of are printed on some plastic here, which kind of seems nice. There's also, you know, more specific like character cards, which actually seem very nice. I really like the Aang art here, down here. So there's some sort of a track type thing here, which I guess is related to like energy, how much you can play. And as the game goes forward, you can maybe play up to 10. You maybe start at 4, kind of makes sense. Basic actions, mention of like heroes, plans, damage and stuff like that. You know, there seems like there's some depth here at the very least, which I do appreciate. I think I skipped over an image there, did I? This one. So I don't know, like with the dice or like the things being stacked, if that really means anything. It seems like they're kind of hard to stack. It's probably just a setup image for the kind of promo shots here. Here's some of the cards. It seems like this is most of the Earth cards kind of laid out. So lots of different shots of Toph. Some of them I think might actually be a little new. Or I think they're just might be from the show, kind of taken out, of course. But still, very cool stuff. That there's a lot of kind of cards here. That's nice for the depth. Here's again different types of cards again. Uncle Iroh. There's a June card you can see in the background. Blue Spirit, Jet, Paku, and stuff like that. So, you know, a lot to talk about kind of with this one. There's the main set again. I think I skipped over something. Yeah, back of the box, I suppose, is a decent shot to focus on. Okay, characters take on the Fire Nation. There's lots of different kind of scenarios. That's what the full contents. 4 hero movers with bases, 4 hero mats. Okay, 4 White Lotus tokens, 88 action cards, 12 wound cards, 15 encounter cards. 9 ally cards, 8 enemy cards, 14 enemy movers with bases, 10 objective tokens, 6 challenge tokens, 7 clips, 3 cubes, 12 element tiles, journey tracker, book of challenges, and instructions. So there's a cabbage merchant you can see just here. You seem to have hands of cards. So each character, I guess, of the 4 that you get to use do get a deck. So it looks like you're just playing as the kind of 4 kind of initial kind of Team Avatar members. So kind of an interesting choice to not allow you to at some point play with Zuko. But who knows? Maybe there'll be expansion later on to add that, because you kind of be wanting like kind of play as Zuko, kind of play as Suki, other characters as we go forward as well. But it looks like for the sake of this game, Zuko is just going to be treated as a enemy, I guess. So that's interesting. Also, Suki, you do see her up here as one of these kind of character tokens, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those ones where like I hope they release like the rules like beforehand, so we can maybe get a look at kind of how it plays. But still, like it's an interesting one. $32.99. I think they said in one of the listings that it's coming out this year. Is fall? Am I misplacing fall with what they said the game, the Quest for Balance game would be? I think they just said this is scheduled for this year, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, 2 to 4 players, 10 minutes it's up. Apparently 45-minute gameplay. But it seems like there's a few different ways to play, where you could do a whole campaign, or you could just choose to do specific sort of scenarios. So I don't know. Looks like there's something to it, definitely. But yeah, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. Heart of a Hero, but I suppose more specifically, what are your thoughts on potentially some of our first really clean looks at these previous 2 avatars, which we have to assume are the 2 avatars before Zito? What do you think about them appearing in this book? And then, yeah, do you have any thoughts on Avatar Crossroads of Destiny, the game? But that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.